how Rick Barnes is poised for long-term success, even though he'll be 70 this summer. I'm just going to challenge Caleb and see what he's got. First down. Give me a reason, Caleb.
Coop here. First down.
Go.
So Rick Barnes is equipped for long-term success because of the changes to college basketball that have happened in the NIL era.
What changes, sir?
The changes are, well, not just NIL, but transfer portal. The transfer portal combined with the NIL is going to lead to a lot of players like Dalton Connect, a lot more Dalton Connects who play very well at the smaller level, will have one more year of eligibility, and in that final year will look for a school or a program that will develop them to give them a shot at the NBA. Rick Barnes, his strength, his forte is developing players and coaching experienced talent. He doesn't do well with one and dones as freshmen because he has a philosophy, he tries to develop them on principle, and it just doesn't mix well with what he's with what their overall objective is. Because Dave, as you know, one and dones are using college as a pit stop for the NBA, period, end of story. And they don't really care how they're developed. They're mad that they have to go to college in the first place. So Rick Barnes is going to start focusing on getting experienced guys at other places via the transfer portal to come play for him, and they will thrive under Rick Barnes because they're going to Rick Barnes specifically because they want to develop their game for no other reason.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on these 4 downs for all 4 that you have, okay? I'm going to say, no way, Caleb, you're absolutely wrong because Dalton Connect was 1 in a million. He wanted to be coached hard. He wanted the structure of a Rick Barnes type of program. Most kids don't want that. They'll go somewhere else and they'll want to play with the best players. So while we see one and done being phased out, I believe that you could see the transfer portal become the new one and done, and that is teams with big NIL money. Matter of fact, someone told me from Kentucky that that's what John Calipari has planned, is to put together with the money that he's able to get from Nike in a roundabout way before, he's going to try to funnel that into some transfer players. So I don't think Rick Barnes is the type of coach. I will leave it at this. I don't think Rick Barnes is the type of coach that most transfers would want to play for. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
All right, give me another reason. Long-term success, Rick Barnes.
One, the next one is NIL. Tennessee has the best NIL collective in college basketball. So when they go after these transfers, they're going to be in the running for the best of the best constantly. And they're going to be able to consistently be in the running for these type of transfers I'm talking about. These 4-year guys. Dalton Connect is not 1 in a million. I'm breaking from you on that. I think there's a lot of guys that see an NBA career in themselves who are career college players. And they just think, if I just get this one extra year, I can do something special. So I think NIL is going to allow Rick Barnes to compete for the best players, bar none, at Tennessee.
Did you ever hear the story about how Shaquille O'Neal moved to an area and his credit card got a fraud put on it because he spent $100,000 at Walmart? You ever heard that story in a night?
Never heard that one before.
Okay, it's true. I think it happened in Alcoa, actually, just south of Knoxville. So, but the story is true. What you were saying is absolutely correct, because this is not when Tennessee with their NIL money, they walk into a transfer portal house of football, let's say, instead of house of sports. You better bring out the big checkbook. You better have a Haslam with you, right? You walk in basically a Walmart where you can afford everything in basketball with Tennessee's NIL money. They don't just have to get one guy. They can get 2 transfer portal guys. Now, then you worry about chemistry, and there are whole kinds of other issues. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see at some point a season in which a school has 2 or 3 key starter transfer portals players in the future. What now, Coop?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right, brother. Give me another reason.
It ties into the NIL, but
success at Tennessee because
it ties back into NIL, but it's going to be another reason for it, which is Josiah James and Santiago Vescovi came back this year. That's not ending. There's going to be a lot of players who would be second-round late draft picks in the NBA that are now going to come back for another year. And Rick Barnes is going to absolutely work on that and try to keep them in. Think of a Jonas Adu. We just talked about him. I've lit into him, but Jonas Adu has raw NBA potential, so he would actually test the NBA waters or the pro waters. Even if it's not NBA, he might go overseas or something like that. He's coming back to Tennessee, and they're going to get the NIL money to do it. If Zakai Ziegler were testing the waters, the NIL money is going to bring him back. Nobody does better with returning players than Rick Barnes. Nobody in college basketball does better with returning talent than Rick Barnes. He develops players like nobody's business. And so you're going to consistently see more experienced teams at Tennessee because of that.
I got zero argument for that one. I think that's a really good one. You keep the mid-level players that are not going to be lottery picks. I mean, you couldn't keep Connect even if he had another year, but you could keep almost everybody else on the team, I would think, even if they had a little bit of NBA interest. That's good stuff. His fourth down is his best. We went over it on a 3:45 a.m. production meeting. It's fantastic. And I remind you that 4 downs, and today we discuss why Rick Barnes will have long-term success at Tennessee, is brought to you by our good friends at Dynasty Pools and Spas. Within 125 miles, they deliver everything you need, including the cover lift, steps, and everything. Again, within 125 miles, that's Dynasty Pools and Spas. And with their chemicals, it's local and it's not filler. It's great products. That fourth down coming up, why Rick Barnes will have immense success. Caleb's calling for 4 national championships, 18 Final Fours at Tennessee right after this. Just imagine having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. What about that? Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And then delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas. What is your fourth and strongest reason why Rick Barnes will have long-term continued success at Tennessee?
Rick Barnes is not as stubborn as we all thought. I mean, Rick Barnes overnight changed his philosophy to adapt to the team he had this year with Dalton Connect. We never thought Rick Barnes was that type of coach. Rick Barnes exercised load management at the end of the season, which is a big reason Tennessee made the Elite Eight to begin with, because he absolutely tanked the SEC tournament, which kept them fresh. So Rick Barnes, we thought he was hard-nosed, old school, stuck on principle the whole time. No, he doesn't. He can change his philosophy based on the talent he has and the way he and the team he has and the personnel he has. And very rare for a 69-year-old coach to do that. And he's in. Look at Rick Barnes. He's young. He's 69 going on 55. So, yeah, I mean, I think he could coach into his 80s.
Does he look younger than me? In all honesty, if you met us two in the same room.
I wouldn't say he looks younger than you, Dave. Don't worry.
Thank you.